in your duty station when you get there, they could have vests, they could have little armbands, whatever the sort of identifiable marker is. You basically know that they're an authority in the emergency situation. You can look for them or look to them for guidance, especially when we have some situations that might not be just like a fire.
We could have something that's called a shelter-in-place event.
Ah.
Now, these are unique situations that we give very deliberate instructions about, and that's the difference. We've learned fire evacuation since we were in kindergarten. Under shelter-in-place, though, those instructions could be very unique for each different scenario.
So let's talk about a couple of scenarios, Jeff. Well, like an earthquake, what would we do? Do we evacuate right away or shelter in place? What do we do?
Well, actually, it's a shelter-in-place event. Duck, cover, and hold on. That means we want to duck under a desk or a table, seek that cover, and hold on to that so that that desk or table doesn't shake away from us while the building is shaking. What getting under the table protects you from is from the light fixtures or some of the things up in the ceiling that might fall and hurt you. The table or desk will protect you from that.
Okay, so that's good guidance on like an earthquake, what we're supposed to do. What about a bomb threat? Because, you know, should I pull the fire alarm and alert everybody that way?
Actually, that would be the worst thing to do.
Oh.
In shelter in place, if you pull the fire alarm, then people are going to exit the building via every exit we have. And so some of those people who are leaving the building may actually walk into the danger zone around the danger we're trying to keep everybody away from. So in a bomb threat, let's say there's a bomb on the east side of our building, we're going to want to shelter in place as far away from the bomb, but stay in the building. The building offers us brick, mortar, and steel protection from the blast itself. Now, if the authorities come up and they say the device is so large that we think the building is in jeopardy, everybody has to get out, we will deliberately evacuate the building on the opposite side of the device. So if it's on the east side, we will be evacuating from the west side.
So Jeff, let's just say this is an envelope, and I just opened this envelope and all sorts of powder just fell on me. Should I run down the hallway to the security office and give it to them?
Well, your initial inclination might be, I'm dirty, I need to go get cleaned up, so I'm going to walk over to the bathroom. But if it's something contaminated, you may be spreading that contamination the entire way. So the first thing you probably want to do is pick up the phone and contact security, let them know that you just opened up an envelope and powder fell all over you. And then have them have one of their security officers come up and seal off the area, or at least clear the area, get all the other employees away. The idea being to minimize the spread of contamination. I will tell you that if it was a true white powder event or something along those lines, when the authorities arrive, they're probably going to have you remove their outer layer of clothing. So you might already do that in advance. Just turn it inside out and put it in your trash can and wait for the authorities to come and help you.
What if we have an active shooter situation? Do I evacuate? Do I shelter in place? What do I do?
Well, first of all, active shooter is when we have a hostile employee, visitor, or guest who's come in and is actually engaging our population with the intent of doing harm to them, whether it's with a pistol or a knife or any other kind of weapon. So those active shooter events, when they occur, you have three options. Do you know what they are?
I think run, hide, or fight.
That's correct. So if you're near an exit when it happens, when the gunshots are heard, exit the building immediately. Go down the staircase, go to the bottom, all the way to the bottom floor, and exit the building. Get away from this event. If you're unable to do that, if you're too close to the shooter, or you're afraid that they will discover you or see you leaving, then you need to hide. So you're going to hide in your office. Lock the door. Get under the desk. Seek cover. Don't start talking. Don't cry. Don't peek out the door to see if it's okay. Stay hidden. You want to be very quiet and out of sight. Turn off the lights. Lock that door.
So what else could I be doing in there?
Well, you can be thinking. You need to have a plan. If the person discovers where you're hiding, then you need to fight. That's the last piece. And you need to fight with whatever you have available. If it's your stapler, a letter opener, some ballpoint pens, whatever you have, throw your monitor at them. You need to save your life at that point. So run, hide, fight. Use one of those words in an active shooter event. The last little piece about this is when it's over. When is it over? If I'm a perpetrator, I could walk down the hallway yelling, all clear, and see who comes out of their office. Well, I don't want you to do that. I want you to listen for an official all clear.
So when you get to your duty station, would it be smart to find an occupant emergency plan?
Yeah, inside of our brochure, we have a small section here, it's in pink, And it has at least 4 questions that you could ask when you arrive. How do I sound the alarm or let someone know something's wrong? Who is going to be my red hat, or who's the person who's going to be looking out for me in a fire alarm? And then also, where do I go for shelter in place? Where do I go for my assembly area, and how do I get there? Ask those questions because they're critical for your safety.
And the final one, of course, is make sure in any room that you're in that you know how to get out of there by 2 different ways, 2 different exits. So what we've kind of been talking about is just being prepared. We want folks to understand what you should be doing in an emergency before the emergency happens. That's probably a good idea. Understand what your occupant emergency plan is, what it tells you to do. Make sure that they have your emergency contact information if that's needed. Again, never take the elevator in the event of emergency. Always use the stairs. A couple other things that are really important that you should note. If you are somebody that has a disability or might have a hard time getting down the stairs safely, you can actually go to your manager or supervisor or even one of us safety officers, and we will actually help find somebody that will assist you in the evacuation process. Some other things. This is just what we do in the safety office. We do some of the workplace hazards that we discussed earlier. We talk about lighting, fire hazards. We do a little bit of electrical stuff. Make sure that all of our electrical wiring is up to snuff. If you get injured, you need to make sure somebody knows about it. You have to report every injury, no matter how big or small, to your manager or supervisor. Why do we do that?
Well, we do that because we don't want things to happen twice.
You have to prepare for an emergency before the emergency happens. Know where your OEP is. Understand what the OEO does in your building, the Occupant Emergency Organization. Maybe even become one of them. Again, you make sure you understand where your egress locations are.
So if you see something wrong, though, just like it's saying here, maintain appropriate functioning equipment. If you see something wrong, please report it. The sad thing is if you are exposed to a hazard and you're okay after that exposure, you get up and you're just fine, you do that 360 to see if anybody saw you. Nobody saw me, so I'm going to walk on. That's one thing. But someone else comes along later and is exposed to the same hazard and gets hurt, then we had a failure in the system someplace. We really need you to help us in reporting those things. Oh, and who do you report to? You can report to your security officer, your safety officer, your manager or supervisor, your building maintenance team. Any of those individuals or groups know who to address that problem to so it can get fixed and remediated. Well, we do safety survey inspections of every office and every workspace in every one of our buildings every year. And this is just an example of one of those inspections. This, by the way, is probably your office in about 3 weeks. Remember, we work for the federal government, so everything's done in triplicate, right? Not anymore. We're trying to reduce the paper. So the idea here is this is too much paper. We need you to try and use double-sided printing, reduce the paper that you actually have. And if you do have a lot of paper, let's try and get it filed. Moving on to the next one. Watch your step on that extension cord. We talked about extension cords earlier, and please follow those instructions on extension cords. Can I get you something to drink? Notice in this particular office on the left-hand side, there's a coffee pot, a microwave, a refrigerator. All of these things are additional loads on the electrical system in that particular office space. So we want to make sure that you minimize that. So do you need to hang up that coat in this question? Notice there's a sprinkler head with a hanger on it. Please don't touch the sprinkler heads. You will get really, really wet. They put out a lot of water. Don't touch that stuff. Hanging anything from your ceiling that might be combustible is also a no-no. It's a violation of the fire code. So when you get to your office, if it's not in the Humphrey building, and they don't have something like this, ask them why not. If they'd like to get a copy of it, just have them email us and we'll send them the template and they can modify it so it works for them. All right? So at this point, I believe we're at the end. Well, thank you for your time and welcome to HHS.
Thank you.